Anthony Murphy writes and performs his poems in New York as Johnny Cashback. That's his exiled alter ego. He's also known as Murph, and he assists Philip Giambri in his reading at Three of Cups. Back in England, he was the voice of sound art installation Quint. He also helped form live music and poetry event Everybody's Got to Be Somewhere that drew performers from all over the UK to a small stage in Brighton. He assists Philip Giambri's Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner at Three of Cups in the Village, as I mentioned, and he has two chapbooks. One is called Postcards from New Yorkshire, and one that just came out, he brought it today, called Abandoned Mansions, and he has copies of it. So let me introduce our first poet. I'm very honored to have him here, Anthony Murphy, Murph, or Johnny Cashback.
Thanks for the lovely intro, Bernard. My mother was a washerwoman, you know. Fit right in here, don't I? Thanks. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's nice to be in New York. This is an ode to the freak show. It's called Bowery Dime Museum. I've seen a bearded baby here that never made the news, unlike the fearless lady with her daily tattooed shoes. I heard tell there was a politician who smiled without a tooth. She was just invented yesterday, so appeals to this year's youth. There are newborns every minute here. There are punters by the score. Mods obsessed with yesteryear are always back for more. Lots of freakish normalcy down at the Bowery Dime Museum. All expositions for $1. You should come and see 'em. There are eunuchs' sons from antiquity in virgins' daughters' laps, and two-faced TV presenting monkeys who offer each other claps. Lots of modern freakery down at the Bowery Dime Museum. If you perchance can spare $1, then you'll get to see 'em. Roll up here for the bombardier, armless in his trousers. See the Kaiser's wax moustache, tackled by some scousers. Underneath the trestle are mice as big as cats, and once inside the armoire, they procreate with rats. There are cage-free Wall Street tigers exclaiming Carpe Diem, but you'll be safe. They've got the dope down at the Bowery Dime Museum. There's an elephant painting tables and a pig that waits your easel. There's a stoat in a coat created by Zeus and a naked lady weasel. Lots of yada yada down at the Dum-de-Dum. You should pickle herring, it's possibly more fun. There's salad that's eating models. There's fags that are smoking butts. There's sex-starved Sheeny on his whole machine, siphoning his nuts. Paradoxes down on the Bowery that give only one way to read it. You may be the Earl of Big Fuck Hall, they'll say you're a feckin' Egypt. Lots of smoke and mirrors down at the Bowery Dime Museum. You're not worth the price of entry if you can't even see them. So this next one is seasonal, but it's not this season. So you have to shut your eyes and imagine. It's called Midnight Mass. It was the night before Christmas, but only by minutes. And under the snow-dusted dome of St. John's, a congregation of celebrants. Some had started early, not wanting to be late or come undone. Out of the slow night they had padded and fluffed into the church, all a-flicker, all golden and red-rich with sanctuary. Fat Father Unsworth huffed into his robes, patent leather shoes, unseen these years of his cheeky puff, when sermonising in his finery, eyes invisible to the world and oblivious to the vestments and the routine. So, ably assisted by little Sean Riley, the son of a conman, who should still be out west, scrubbed and squeaking the surplice. Cassock, stole, alb and chasuble, a drapery green and gold, a pig stuck in a seasonal tree. But, pumped up with pomp, Fat Father Unsworth had gravitas that belied his apparent immobility. When it came to mass, he floated. And in the church, the drunks at the back plastered the brickwork. Those in the pews closed their eyes and took advantage of a seat or two. The choir, boosted by Mrs. Kelly's sibilance, hissed down hymns to these retired, merry and wholly pissed. Then in waddled Father Unsworth, behind him only little Sean Riley. No need for incense with a skeleton staff when you see what beggars believe. Everyone stood, or nearly, and words were said, and someone snored. Sacrament was dished out. Duty was done for another year for these foul-weather friends. Some guilt had been traded. And so to home through the white soft streets, humming their lullabies confidently. Little Sean Riley would stay a while yet, help to divest the swollen body of the priest, as his mouth cooked something stronger than the altar wine. Then to clean the vestibule and back to the altar, snuffing out candles and have a dip in the molten wax, the pleasure of peeling the fingerprint molds in the red shadows of an empty church. There and then from above him came a lonely cough that turned Sean cold. Someone not gone. The echo faded. Sean's ears, deaf to the quiet now, his heart as a trapped rabbit, though his blood pumped true and his legs moved him on in his duty. The dossers must be cleared from the pews. But waiting for little Sean Riley in the balcony, white-faced and prone, masochistic on wood, hugged into a coat full of holes, was the shade of a man once known. Away from the safety of the vestibule, as fat Father Unsworth snorted his whiskey, up to the gods Sean went, up under the Byzantine mosaic, beneath the dead eyes of Jesus, to creak on the open-minded stairs, for to do his duty, the scared child ascended, righteous, innocent, towards feathered authority, to confront a shade in a makeshift nest, although 13 years old and still wearing his dress. Outside, the snow still drifted like a homeless horde crowding on all doorsteps. Inside, Sean had only his candle. Hello, who is there? The shadow had words. Come near, I need you. Sean did his best, the Boy Scout, prepared, went to the speaking lump, found its eyes and looked into fire behind frosted glass. And Sean saw his father and the mess, shot through with politics, killed by religion. And as the man lay bleeding, he gave to his blood a bloody lie and a gun. The Brits had got him, he said, right in the gut. He blubbed and cried and bloody well lied again. Take this to O'Leary's, cold metal to fingers. They'll look after you. Revenges, he said. And then he was dead, wrapped up and done, like Christmas. And in his stead, the sun went down, present in hand. He took all bullets to run the fat father through. Then Sean stole a chalice, a monstrance, the offertory box, and never did say, God bless you. So as Bernard mentioned, I wrote some postcards from New Yorkshire that started off as actual postcards to my family back home. Here are a couple of those. I was an ignorant immigrant, but you know, here we go. Number one. The Lower East Side is grand. There was a guy on a bench with his arse and balls hanging out. It was an anatomical cacophony. I have to step over rivulets of piss and puke, but not every morning. It's just like home, you would love it. The bar on Avenue B looked suitably dirty. It was dark and the windows gave no hint as to what went on inside. I needed some place quiet to finish the thoughts I had been carrying. There should have been sawdust on the floor. A few bearded men sat at the bar nibbling on their nuts. It was a trick they'd learned early. I ordered a stout and watched the menu and looked at the TV screen. 2 Ultimate Fighters got bloody on the canvas. It was obscene. The pizzas were dairy-free and the gravy was vegan. They have landed a few punches, a righteous hook here and there, the cheeseless amongst us. And the last postcard. We were crossing at the corner of 1st Avenue and 14th Street. The swirling weekly wind made its appearance and snatched a youth's change from his hand as he exited the hot and crusty pizza place. Regardless of traffic or the lack of a little white man, this dude ran into the street after Washington, and we all watched his progress to the gutter with the help of the water collected there. He stamped his authority upon George's face. Boy, you chased that dollar down, a wise old woman said, as the orderly ones amongst us caught up to his fist-pumping joy in this land of opportunity. And the last one, I mean, the difference in traditions and culture I noticed when we started going to Fire Island. It's a totally different kind of place than I've ever been to before, and this is kind of not about that, but it's one that inspired by that. It's called Beached. I sleep beneath her knees every night. I should draw little mountaineers on them, some Lilliputian adventurers conquering those bony fleshy peaks amidst the sands of Fire Island, 3,000 miles away, where the surf is troubled and the horseshoe crabs come to die under the mooning, starful, cloud-gone sky. I should wave goodbye. I can get these things from some other place. The barbecued beer and the butt chicken, the shrimpy blinis, margaritas or pims or dirty martinis, the fires at night, the dog hair at dawn, the cardinals and grackles but never piping plovers nestled in a no-go dune. Oh, if you want translation, see me later. The blown jobs, the hot foot, the boats in the bay, the bobbing along, the going home, they can be found or recreated in Greece or Ibiza. I'm not tied to this strip of sand, but you in that photograph, your knees being bronzed, are forever stranded. Thank you. And one last one. Just, I don't know, I like about writing and poetry in general. I am heavy-handed, no sense of finesse. I break most fragile things with this lack of subtlety, like one closed paw crunching a thin-stemmed wine glass. But I do tidy up well. We have a Hoover after all. We adhere to the idea of what a poet should be, stuck here, aren't we, in the early part of some later century, conforming to material of unoriginality after all. Thank you very much. It's very simple. I've got some chapbooks, they're $5 each.
Thank you, Anthony Murphy. That was fantastic. Very honored to have you read your poetry and see Murph or Anthony Murphy or Johnny Cashback for his new Abandoned Mansion poetry. Again, let's hear it again for Anthony Murphy. Fantastic reading.